7:54 now, and I'm not good at math. I can't tell you exactly how many minutes remain until the 4:30 arrival of the Bishop's Corner. But we're going to bring you a piece of it right now. It is the highlight question of the week, and it's all about movies.
I think we're going to have Robert in from Toledo.
Yes, indeed. And he writes, Bishop Thomas, the series chosen has sparked a number of Christian-based movies lately, including Cabrini, Jesus Thirsts, and Father Flanagan. What are some of the key things we should be looking for to determine if these movies are in tune with the faith and healthy for our spiritual growth? Thank you, Robert.
Robert, thank you. What a great question. Boy, was I glad that you didn't include the movie Conclave in that list.
Ooh.
Because obviously Conclave, let's just say it's not been sparked by things like The Chosen, and sadly it is. I have not seen it, so in all transparency, but I've heard that it's pretty awful, Robert.
I have too.
And I must share with you that Bishop Robert Barron has completely trashed it. And I've heard also that the ending is so absurd and so ridiculous that it's beyond imagining. But I have heard that Conclave, there are some pretty great scenery and pretty great costuming. So some people are going just to watch that, which is interesting. All of that aside, Robert, and that's to say, it would be important to see if in these movies that are, if you will, Christian-based, like Catholic-based, even Cabrini, Jesus Thirsts, Father Flanagan, again, Catholic-based, how the Eucharist, marriage, papal authority are portrayed. Because we know, in the end, when someone wants to come up against the church, it's always questions about the Eucharist, about Our Lady, about marriage, or about the Pope. So it would be important to see with what sensitivity and authenticity those things are handled, and even, frankly, how are the lives portrayed? I mean, God knows there are books and movies where some of the characters who are supposed to be Catholic are wretches, but that's human life. But how are the realities of the Catholic Church portrayed? You know, are they skewed or are they authentic? And for example, at least in The Chosen, a lot of people ask, well, how about the character of Peter? Is he portrayed accurately as we would believe? And of course, we would want our Catholic beliefs to be portrayed in such a way that they don't leave us astray, but they draw us more deeply into the truths of our Catholic faith. So hope that's helpful.
And of course, you can find reviews if you go to good Catholic sources too, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and they may help. But I remember, I did watch Cabrini, and my gosh, it was incredibly edifying. I thought the story of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini. Now, I can't be the judge, Robert, of, what was this specific, way that she spoke to the bishop, or was this specific thing she did with the poor, was that authentic? Well, we don't know. I mean, this is also interpretation, right? It's an interpretation of art. But if they don't lead you astray to think, if you will, to think ill of the church or ill of Francis Xavier Cabrini, there's no doubt she was a strong woman and an extraordinary character, right? But if they don't lead you to sort of think ill of it, well, that's a good sign, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bishop, and thank you for that question. And, of course, you get that plus 4 other questions, I believe, on today's edition of the Bishop's Corner, appearing on air here on the 5 stations of Annunciation Radio just after Say Yes to Life. So make sure you're tuned in at 4 or 4:30 anyway.
Yeah, and that program also heard by our brothers and sisters, our partners at Holy Family Radio that also carry the Bishop's Corner. Hey,
That's
look,
right.
I want to say this real quickly. I love Cabrini. I'm so glad he
yeah.
mentioned that movie in particular. I know it got a lot of criticisms for this, that, and the other, but man, it was a
Good movie.
portrayal of her life. Not every aspect of her life, but a particular aspect I thought was fabulous.
Absolutely.